Hello students, I am Akhilesh Kumar Shrivastava from ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. In the series of the data structure lectures, we will discuss today about the quick sort. In the previous lectures related to the sortings, we have discussed about the bubble, selection and insertion sorts. Those were the order of n square sorting techniques and the brute force approach sorting techniques. We have also discussed about the merge sort, that is a divide and conquer strategy that solves the numbers or that sorts the number in the order of n log n time. We have also seen a comparative analysis of the n square and n log n mathematically, wherein we have seen that the growth of n square is very fast as compared to n log n. So, today we will discuss about the quick sort. The outline of today's lecture will be, we will look at the divide and conquer strategy, we will have a recap of this, then we will see what are the different problems that can be solved using the divide and conquer mechanism. We will also discuss about the partition algorithm, we will discuss about the quick sort process in detail, and finally, we will do the runtime analysis of the quick sort algorithm. So, the divide and conquer strategy is a technique in which we divide the bigger problem into the smaller parts and then we solve the smaller versions of the problem recursively and then we combine the solution in the bottom up manner. Let us say we have a size n problem, then we are dividing that size n problem to size n by 2 and size n by 2 problem, and we will once again divide these problems into the n by 4 and n by 4 and so on and so forth, and then we find out the solution of the sub problem and then we merge these two solutions or we combine these two solutions to find the solution of the bigger version. Now, there are some of the problems, some of the classical problems which can be solved using the divide and conquer mechanism. We have listed these in the earlier lectures also. Just have a quick recap of those problems which can be solved using the divide and conquer. Finding a raised to the power b, wherein the number of multiplications were reduced in case we solve this problem using the divide and conquer. For example, if we have to find out a raised to the power 8, the usual mechanism of finding a raised to power 8 would be to multiply a with itself 8 times. This requires 8 total multiplications. In case we do it with the help of the divide and conquer, and let us say we have a raised to the power 4, when we find the value of a raised to the power 4 and we will multiply it with itself, we will find the value of a raised to the power 8. Similarly, this can be divided into a square and a square, then a square can be divided into a and a, means a raised to the power 1 and a raised to the power 1. This will be a direct value. So, when we will combine this or we will merge these two, we will get a value of a square. Finally, when a square will be multiplied with itself, we will get a value of a raised to the power 4. Then in case we have the a raised to the power 4 and it is multiplied with itself, we will get the value of a raised to the power 8. So, you can see that we require only 3 multiplications here in the place of 8 in the earlier case. So, earlier in case we are finding a raised to the power n, then the order of n multiplications are required. Here in this case, order of log n multiplications are required. So, you already know that what is the difference between n and the log n. We have seen the growth of n and log n, where n grows faster, very fast as compared to the log n. Then merge sort, that we have already seen on the last turn. The traversals on the binary trees, those are also the example of the divide and conquer. Binary search approach, wherein we restrain our search area in every iteration, we reduce the search area in every iteration, and we are dividing that part to half in each of the iteration. So, that reduces the size of the problem wherein we have to search, that reduces the size of the array in which we have to search the element. Now, multiplication of the large numbers, you can apply there also the divide and conquer approach, matrix multiplication using the Stresson's matrix multiplication. and in finding the convex hull also you can use the concept of the divide and conquer. Now, let us understand about the quick sort. The requirement of the quick sort is that we need to partition the given array. So, we are first going to the partition array and then we will see the quick sort in detail. So, given an array, let us say it contains some numbers and we have to partition this array, and we have to partition this array such that let us find out a pivot, and according to that pivot all the numbers on the left of this should be less than this and all the numbers on the right should be on the right of this. So, this is our intention of doing the partition, that we will find out a pivot, and we will also try to find out the numbers which are less than pivot should come towards the left of the pivot, and the numbers which are larger than the pivot should come on the right of the pivot. So, the rules for the partition would be that we will set one of the element as a pivot, and then we will find out the appropriate position of the pivot in the sorted array. In case we find the appropriate position of the pivot in the sorted array, for example, we take a number and fix here at some index, and in case all the numbers on the left of that number are less than that, it means that the pivot has been placed correctly in the sorted array. Similarly, if all the numbers on the right should be greater than the pivot element. So, this is the requirement. To do the partition, we have some rules. Let us say we are picking up the first element as the pivot. So, here let us say 100 has been selected as the pivot. Then we will take a number I, and we are taking a number from our side, that is infinite. In case we have 10 elements in the array, the 11th element is set as the infinite, and j is set at the last index. It means the index at which infinite is there. Infinite is nothing but the maximum element or the largest element in the array. Now, the process would be to increment I, or we progress I from left to right. The element at which which is larger than pivot, we will stop I there. For example, if I is moved here, this element is not larger than the pivot. 100 is the pivot, but this element is 90 only. So, we will give increment to I again. Now, this element is larger than pivot, we will stop here. And now, similar thing is done with the j. We decrement j until we get a smaller element than the pivot. So, this element is not smaller than the pivot. So, just decrement this j again. This element 40 is smaller than pivot. So, we will stop here. In case I is less than j, it means I is behind j, we will exchange ith and the jth element. So, what is the anticipation in exchanging the ith and the jth element? The jth element is smaller and ith element is larger. The larger element should come on the right and the smaller element should come on the left. So, that is why we are exchanging the ith and the jth element. So, in case I is less than j, we will exchange ai and aj element in the anticipation that the smaller element should come on the left and the larger element should go on the right. But in case I exceeds j, or I is greater than j, we will exchange the jth element with the pivot element, and j will be the position of the element in the sorted array. J will be the correct position of these element in the pivot element in the sorted array. So, we will take an example and explain this. No need to worry if you have not been able to understand this. With the help of the example, we will explain all these. Let us take an example, and here what we have done, we have taken a last element as infinite. Here only 10 elements are given, the 11th element is taken from our side as a infinite. So, this infinite is taken only for the first execution of the partition. In subsequent execution of the partition with the quick sort, there will be an infinite which will be automatically set. Okay? You will come to know with the examples. So, let us take a I at the first index here, and let us take a j as a last index 10. Okay? And we are setting up a pivot. Here the pivot is the first element. You can take any element as a pivot, but here we are taking only the first element as a pivot. So, pivot is the first element, that is 100 in this case. Now, we increment I from 0 to 1 and see if this element is larger than pivot. So, this is not larger than pivot. So, we increment I again. This 140 is larger than pivot. So, we stop I here, and then we decrement this j. j comes at 9 index. This jth element is larger than pivot. We will stop j where we find a smaller element than the pivot. So, this element is larger. So, this is not a smaller. So, let us take j here. Now, this element 40 is smaller than the pivot. So, we stop here. We are going to check the I and the j position. The position of I is 2 and position of j is 8 and I is behind j. Okay, 2 is less than 8 means I is behind j. So, we will exchange ith and the jth element in the anticipation that the 140 should go on the right and 40 should come on the left. 140 is larger than 100, so it should go on the right, and 40 is smaller than 100, so it should come on the left side. So, let us write the elements again. Here comes 40, at the 8th index 140 will come and rest of the elements will remain same in this array. Now, I is here and j is here. We repeat the same process. We are going to increment this I until we get a larger element. So, this is not larger, this element is larger. So, stop here. Now, decrement j until we get a smaller element than the pivot. This 30 is smaller than the pivot. So, we will stop here. Let us check the position of I and j. I is at 4 index and j is at 7 index. Here 4 is less than 7. That means, we have to exchange ith and the jth element in this case. So, larger element than the pivot, that is 200, will go on the right, and a smaller element than the pivot 30 will go on the left. So, we are exchanging 230. So, 30 is here and 200 will come here. Here is I and here is j, and now we are going to write other elements as such. There will be no change in the other elements of the array. Let us repeat the same process. I is here, find out the index at which we find a larger element than I. So, this element is not larger, this element is larger. So, stop here. Now, decrement j until we get a smaller element than the pivot. So, this 120 is not smaller, but 70 is smaller. So, let us stop here. Now, here you see the position of I is 6, whereas the position of j is 5. So, now I is not less than j. So, this is the terminating condition for the partition. If I is not less than j, I has exceeded j, we will interchange jth at the pivot element. Here in this case, the pivot element is the first element 100 and jth element is this 5th index element. We will exchange these two. So, 70 comes here and at the 5 index 100 will come. Rest of the elements are written as such. This is 80, this is 30, this is 120, this is 200, this is 140 and this is 150. Now, this was the j index, 5 index was the j index, and the position of this element has got fixed in the sorted array. You can see that all the elements which are lying towards the left of this jth element are less than 100 and all the elements on the right of the 100 are greater than 100. It means the partition has been done correctly. We have found that the array has now been partitioned into two parts. One of the part contains a smaller element than the pivot, means the jth element, and the other parts on the right are greater than the pivot element. Now, we can do the quick sort or the partition for the left array or left part of the array and right part of the array separately. Now, this is the algorithm for whatever operation we have actually written here. We are setting up I at the smallest index, j at the high plus 1 index. What is happening here? That this is low and this is high. From our side, we have taken the index 10, which has the element infinite. So, if this is high, this index will be high plus 1. We initialize I at the low index and we initialize j at high plus 1 index. And the element at the smallest index, that is low index, is treated as the pivot. So, we are now going to do the pair of the operation. We increment I. If ai is less than pivot, we again repeat this. If ai is less than pivot, we again repeat this. As soon as we find a larger element than the pivot, we will stop there. then we are going to decrement this j. As soon as we find the smaller element in the pivot, we will stop there. Okay. So, this is the pair of the operation. After this, we are going to check if I is less than j, then we will exchange ai and aj element, and then again repeat the process. By the time I is less than j, this process gets repeated. The moment I exceeds j, we will come out of this loop and we will exchange alo and aj element, means the pivot element and the jth index element, and we will return j, saying that the position of the jth element has got fixed. Now, you need to partition around the left half and right half, or you can say that you perform the quick sort on the left half and the quick sort on the right half. So, what is happening here? We have an array, we initialize I, we initialize j, we increment I and decrement j. Okay. After each increment and each decrement of I and j, we are going to compare these two elements. If these two elements are smaller, if I is less than j, then we will exchange these two. It means increment of I is one operation, then decrement of j is the second operation, comparison between I and j is the third operation, and after which we will be exchanging these two elements, which will require 3 statements. So, 1 plus 2 plus 3 and 3 statements for exchange. So, a total of 6 statements are required for shifting this I towards the right and shifting this element shifting this j towards the left. At some point of time, these two will cross each other. It means that I has travelled half of the distance, j has also travelled half of the distance. If the size of the array is n, so I has travelled n by 2 distance and j has also travelled n by 2 distance, and in each of the pair of the operation, total 6 operations are performed. So, total 3n operations are performed on this partition. Now, there are some of the statements which are compulsory statement, which are not there in the loop. For example, setting up these values and then return of j. So, there are 4 statements which are extra than the loop. So, 3n plus 4 operations total are performed. So, the space function of this, time function of this would be 3n plus 4, and the time complexity can be written as theta n. Now, what will be the space function? What are the extra variables you took from your side? I is the extra variable, j is the extra variable, pivot is the extra variable, and for exchange you will require a third variable. You may or you may not require, the exchange is possible with or without a third variable. So, let us say we are taking a third variable. So, total 4 extra variables are required here. So, the space complexity of the partition algorithm will be theta 1 here. Okay. So, we have found that the theta n time is required for the partition and theta 1 space is required for the partition algorithm to take place. Now, what we are doing? We have an array given, we are doing the partition on this, then we are finding a j index, we will perform the quick sort on the left, we will perform the quick sort on the right. This index is low index, this index highest index will be high index. So, an array is given as A with low and high indexes, then we are going to perform the partition returns a j index, the position of the jth index get fixed, jth element get fixed. Now, we will perform the quick sort on left of j. If this is j, so immediate left element will be the j minus 1 index element. So, low to j minus 1 is the first quick sort that we will perform, and on the right also, if this is j index, this will be the j plus 1 index. So, we will perform quick sort j plus 1 to high, the another part of the array. So, you will perform quick sort on the left half and quick sort on the right half. If the position of the jth index has got fixed, you will have a left part which will be ranging from low to j minus 1 and the right half which will be ranging from j plus 1 to high. So, you will perform the quick sort on both part of the array. Okay. Now, let us say this is the quick sort that you have to perform, quick sort 1 8. How does it go? Let us say we are assuming that the index of the immediate mid element is getting fixed. So, it means that in case we are performing quick sort 1 to 8, in that case the partition algorithm, this is our assumption, the partition algorithm is giving us the index 1 plus 8 by 2. It is our assumption, it will not be true actually always, it will be changing according to the nature of the numbers. So, just to understand the execution, we are doing this quick sort 1 to 8. So, now you have performed the partition algorithm, and in the partition algorithm you have called the partition 1 to 8. This returns, let us say, 4. So, you will perform a quick sort with low to j minus 1, means 1 to 3 index, and then you will perform a quick sort with j plus 1 to high, it means 5 to 8 index. So, now partition is the iterative algorithm, whereas the quick sort is the recursive algorithm. It is returning 4, then it will terminate, then there is a turn of this algorithm. Now, in this algorithm we will again do the partition. Doing the partition from 1 to 3, let us say this returns 2 index. Okay. Now, in case we have getting this 2, we will perform the quick sort 1 to 1, because low to j minus 1, another one would be quick sort j plus 1 to high. So, j plus 1 to high. So, this is the quick sort that will be performed here. So, now partition 1 3 is the iterative algorithm, quick sort 1 1 is the recursive algorithm. Now, this is the turn for this. We have to decide whether we will proceed for this or not. Let us say you have only 2 elements. So, 2 elements may be like 170, this is unsorted. So, you need to do the partition, or you need to do the sorting. But let us say you have only one element 100, and low is here and j is high is also here. You have one element only. You do not need to do the partition, because an array with a single element will already be sorted. So, you do not need to proceed with the quick sort in case you have only one element with it. So, that is why in the quick sort the terminating condition or the base condition here is that if low is less than high, then we will proceed, but if low is not less than high, in case low is equal to high or low has exceeded high, we will not perform the quick sort. That is the base case. We will have to terminate the quick sort there. So, in case you have 2 or more elements, the partition will be performed. In case you have less than 2 elements, the partition will not be performed. So, low equals to high is denoting that you have a single element. Low less than high is denoting that you have 2 or more elements. For example, low is 1 and high is 2. So, you have 2 elements. Low is 4 and high is 7. You have 4 elements. Low is 7 and high is 100. That means you have 94 elements in this array. Okay. So, the meaning of low less than high means we have 2 or more than 2 elements. Low equals to high means we have single element. Low greater than high is not possible. In case this has happened, it is because of some mistake, or we have done we have actually shifted this low to come on the right side and high to come on the left side because of the partition algorithm. So, in that case also we will have to stop. So, we have a quick sort 1 1 here. Now, quick sort 1 1 says that it has single element. It will terminate automatically because the base condition has appeared. Now, after this the execution of this will take place, quick sort 3 3. Then quick sort 3 3 also contains a single element. So, since it contains the single element, this will also stop. After this we have a quick sort 5 8. Okay. We have the quick sort 5 8. So, you can see that we have first finished this quick sort 1 3, then we are going for this part. These are the recursive call. This is the property of the recursive call, that once we have picked one of the part, until we finish that part we do not take the other part. Okay. So, this is the property of the recursive function. Now, we are going to take this quick sort 5 8. A partition will be called. In the partition we will perform the partition of 5 to 8 array. This let us say returns a 6, 5 plus 8 by 32, and then we perform the quick sort with 5 and 5. Why 5 and 5? Because low to j minus 1, low is 5, j minus 1 will also be 5, and then another part will be performed with j plus 1 to high, 7 to 8. Okay. Now, this will finish, then we will take this one. Here low is equals to high, we will stop here because it has only single element. Then we will pick this one, it has 2 elements, so partition will be done. So, in the first partition what we will do, we will take 7 to 8 partition, this let us say returns 7. So, now we will call the quick sort from low to j minus 1, and then another quick sort from j plus 1 to high. So, j plus 2 high will be 8 to 8. Now, about 7 to 6, about 7 to 6 means let us say quick sort 7 to 6 is telling you that this is low and this is high. The condition has happened that low has become greater than high. So, this is actually not possible to quick sort will not proceed. And similarly, we have quicksort 8 8 that will also not proceed, because it has single element only, low to high. Finally, we are done with the quicksort 1 8, because all the elements of the quicksort 1 8 or all the subfunction of the quicksort 1 8 has got executed. Now, let us say the partition takes place like this. We have the event partition, we have an n size array, and this gets divided into the two parts of n by 2 and n by 2 each with the help of the partition, and then n by 2 part also gets divided into n by 4 and n by 4 size, and n by 2 size here also gets divided into n by 4 and n by 4 size. So, this keeps on dividing, and if we have the two elements, then we will once again divide it, and let us say this division is of 1 and 1 element only, and for this division also let us say the division is of 1 and 1 element only, after which the further division will not be performed. So, this is the even partition, wherein the elements are divided into the equal parts. Now, what will be the recurrence for this quicksort algorithm? We already have found that the partition algorithm requires theta of n time, in case we have the size of the array as n. After this, we are partitioning this into two parts. In the best case, what will happen, that the array will be divided into the even parts, means half parts, half part toward the left of j and half part will be towards the right of j. Now, if this is happening, then this part will be this part quicksort will be performed on the n by 2 size array, and this will also be performed on n by 2 size array. Let us say Tn is representing the time complexity of quicksort, then Tn by 2 will be representing the time complexity of a quicksort on an array of size 2. So, we have to perform the quicksort, for which we will first do the partition. This will require theta n time, and after which we will obtain the two arrays of size n by 2 and n by 2. We will again perform the quicksort on these two problems or these two sub problems of size n by 2 and n by 2. So, the total will be Tn is equals to Tn by 2 plus Tn by 2 and plus theta n. Okay. So, this can be written as 2 Tn by 2 plus theta n. Now, if we assume that the value of theta n is n, so this can be written as this. This is our assumption, and then if we find out the solution of this with the repeated divisions it by 2, at some point of time we will be finding out that the element will have, the array will have one element, and you know that if you have one element only, the quicksort will not be performed. So, the total complexity or the recurrence, the value of the recurrence will be Tn equals to n T1 plus n log n. This can be written as n log n, and since we are assuming that the array has been divided from the very mid, the complexity of this algorithm will be the best case, and this should be written in the omega notation. In the next lecture, we will see how the quicksort has the different cases. We will see that how the worst case, or when the worst case, or when the best case of the quicksort appears. We will also see how to find out the space complexity of the quicksort. Thank you.